My name's Joseph. Thank you for chatting with me. And basically, AAA Performer is what we're using to increase the profile of neurodiverse performers and how changes can be made to make it better for neurodiverse people in the industry. When did you first get into performing and how?
So I got into performing because when I was about 5 or 6, I used to love putting on little shows for my family. So my mum and dad put me in the theatre train with my brother because we were both quite similar. And I stayed in theatre train until I was about 14 or 15. And it was just something I did for fun and I really loved it. But I realised I wanted to take it seriously. So I then auditioned for a amateur dramatics company, which was called Sharp Academy when I was 15. And they helped me sort of in my later teenage years, and they helped me audition for drama schools when I finished school.
Yeah, okay. When, obviously, because this was when you was a child, how much support did you need from like your parents and trainers?
I don't think I needed as much support when I was very young, because I think that's often provided, especially in things like theatre trains and stage coaches. There's lots of people to help out. But I think as I've gotten older, my parents and my family support has been really, really important. Because I think when you start working professionally, it becomes a little bit more stressful. There's quite a lot of pressure to learn things quickly, and there's long hours. So that's been really, really important, I think.
What do you most enjoy about performing?
I like making people smile. I like to entertain people, and I think when I get to perform, it's a time where I get to switch off and I get to be in another world. And I think that is, for me, my favourite bit about being on stage is I can be someone completely different.
What do you find like difficult, and why do you find it difficult, if that makes sense?
I find concentration quite difficult. So although I'm quite switched on with long rehearsal days, especially, not so much on stage, but in rehearsals, I find those long days, usually after lunch, I find it very, very difficult to focus and absorb information quite quickly. So what I do is I take a notepad and a pen with me everywhere I go, whether that's in a rehearsal or in the theatre or just in life. I always have a pen and paper with me. And that really helps me. So I will write down every bit of direction, every correction, every note I'm given, I write down. And that obviously takes a little bit longer than just putting it in here. But for me, that means that when I get home at the end of the night, I can look over everything and absorb things in my own time when I'm a bit more focused and a bit more switched on. And then hopefully when I go in the next day, I can apply everything. But just on the spot, sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming to take in too much. Yeah.
You might have answered this, but how do you think this could be like made easier for people?
Well, the notebook thing for me is so useful, and I think it's something I recommend to anyone who struggles to focus. Just write everything down, because then if you don't take it in, at least you can look at it later when you're in a state of mind where you can absorb information. But I think also, I think it could be helpful if you talk to directors, if you talk to people who are on a creative team, and you say to them, like, I had to do this recently. A director sort of asked me why I looked quite puzzled with some direction, and I just said to him, just sometimes like my concentration's not the best, and it's not that I'm not listening, it's that I struggle to take in too much. And so just by letting him know that, he knew that I was still working hard, I was still trying my best, I wasn't being lazy. And yeah, I would just say talk to people around you, let them know that that's how you absorb things, and that's how you process information. Boys are often focused on in terms of behaviour at school, whereas girls, it's not as focused on. And when I was younger, I thought it was very normal not to hear quiet all the time and not to hear silence. I hear things all the time, not voices, nothing like that, but noise and music and words and conversations from previously in the day. They kind of stick with me all day, especially in moments of quiet. And I never really understood hyperfocus. But when I'm in a rehearsal room, hyperfocus can be incredibly overwhelming. I can't tune into one person giving me instructions because I can hear things all over the place. And that was something I never understood as a child until someone told me when I was 22 years old that most people can focus on one conversation. So I think it's really important to talk about these things, because I didn't realize that this wasn't something that everyone struggled with. Yeah. And now, as an adult, I realized that actually there are so many things I can do to make that easier for myself. And most of that is I exercise, I take walks, I take time to focus my mind, especially before a busy day at work. I'll often get up early and get some fresh air, focus my brain a little bit. And most importantly, I will talk to people and I will let people know that this is something I struggle with. I am with you 100%, I'm listening, I'm trying hard, and I'm willing to put the work in, but sometimes this can all get a little bit too much, and I need to take 2 minutes to just get some fresh air, and I'll be back in and I'll be on it. But it just took me a long time to realize that, I think.
Do you think in auditions and castings you get fair opportunities?
I would say that I do. Yes, I would say that I do. I don't think anything has ever held me back in that way. I think the only thing that probably holds me back is my casting, because I'm South Asian, and that can be quite restrictive with a lot of casting processes. I don't think we are quite there with diversity with casting. So it's difficult to get into a room for things that I'm probably quite good for. But in terms of me, I don't think I've struggled that much. I think a lot of people have it worse than I do, maybe because my struggles with the way my brain works sometimes aren't as visible as other people's struggles.
Yeah. What do you think would help that the situations of for the casting and auditions?
Have an understanding agent. Have an agent that works with you rather than against you. I think it's really important that you can have a relationship with an agent who will talk to you about these things and work with you. My agent's very, very lovely, very understanding. If there's anything I'm nervous about or need help with, he will help me out. And sometimes it's about your agent just making a phone call before your audition and letting them know that there's something you might struggle with a bit, and then you've got a panel who are more on your side and more understanding.
What's your most memorable or funny moment as a performer?
There are so many. There are some really funny things, and I think you take away one hilarious thing from every show you do. But one I can think about off the top of my head is I did pantomime 2 years ago at Watford Palace Theatre, and I played Sleeping Beauty. And when the Wicked Queen appears, she would appear on a rotating spinning wheel.
Yeah.
And out and she'd scare me and surprise me and be really gloomy, and it was meant to come around really slowly and really dramatically and then stop, and it didn't stop. So for the entire scene the Wicked Queen was spinning round in circles on this spinning wheel, and so we spent the entire scene laughing and couldn't really recover for the whole of Act 1 from this Wicked Queen just spinning in circles for the entire scene. So she kept disappearing when I was speaking to her.
Do you have any questions for me or?
Yeah, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? What are you planning on doing? Are you going to go and perform, or are you going to do some more interviewing?
So I want to go to sixth form and do my A levels, and then I want to go to a performing college. So, and then hopefully get into the industry.
Great, that's exactly what I did. Do your A-levels, because, you know, somehow they're helpful. They are. I think those years are really important. And then you can have the time of your life and maybe get into a drama school. But, you know, if you don't go to drama school, it's not the end of the world. Not everyone does. There's still so many ways to perform, but good for you.